Today's video is about what life teaches you when you're curious and naive at the same time. First things first. First the question, is that picture real or not real? And yes, folks, surprisingly, this is real. This is a real picture taken by Tuca Vieira out of a helicopter. And when I saw this picture, I couldn't believe it in the first place. But once I figured out it's real, I decided to go to that place. And as I started LeoDreams, which is always about people talking about their visions and dreams in life, for me it was the perfect setting. Like, look at this picture, look at how close these completely two different worlds appear, and how does these dreams and visions look like? Are there similarities? Are they very different? So I really was driven by these questions popping into my mind. So I decided to go to that place and talk to both worlds, to talk to the rich people and talk to the people living in the favela. First, I thought it should be easier to make a connection to those people living in that building, skyscrapery building, because I thought I'm from Germany, I'm white, just obvious similarities, and it's just easier to make a connection with those people. So when I got there by bus, I just camped at the building, to be honest. I waited. I had time until some guy living in that building will either arrive at home or go out. So I just waited. I waited, and I think I waited almost an hour to make a possible connection to someone living in that place. And it was that the garage opened and the car just popped out. Was just running there, and the guy got a question or would like to, just was trying to be present and talk to that person. And I just saw how the driver, she just turned the window on top, so it just closed the window, and all the windows were darkened, so I couldn't see who is in there, and just left. But yeah, it was just impossible to make a connection to someone or talk to anyone. Well, I thought if it's that case, that probably might change. I was sure someone will talk to me. But first I got hungry, so I looked for a place to eat, and then, okay, let's go to the favela. I feel like maybe it's easier to talk to someone in the favela. Maybe they're more talkative. Let's see. And it was very naive. I was very naive at that point, because I thought I didn't feel any anxiety or nervousness, because some years before I lived in a favela for 1 year. I volunteered in an NGO, and I played soccer with the kids. I worked in the kindergarten, and I felt very safe at that place. But at this very moment, going into that favela, I was not aware that a favela is not a favela. Every favela is different. They have different rules, and of course, if they don't know you, they don't know you, and it can be scary. So very naive at this point. I don't recommend anyone to do that, especially not if you have your MacBook and your camera with you in the backpack. So I just went down to the favela, and I was just walking and just scanning, talking, looking for someone potentially who's willing to share his or her thoughts and dreams. And I sit somewhere next to a guy who was working with sugarcane, and then suddenly, like, a young kid came, and he just asked me what's in the backpack. And I thought, okay, well, if I tell him what's in the backpack, I probably won't see my backpack again. I just told him there's just nothing in the backpack, just nothing. And he went back to his friends. They were sitting like in a circle, and I could see they were drugged. And okay, something changed. I felt more and more people looking at me. The guys, the young drugged kids looking at me, and I felt like, shoot, this turned somehow. Okay, probably I should go. And I just took my backpack and was about to leave the favela, just walking up, and then I just realized that so many people were looking at me, and I really suddenly I felt in danger. And I just heard the same guy who came to me earlier, asking me again, like, what's in your backpack, but in a more powerful voice, and he was kind of angry, and I just saw that he was walking, almost running, and then I said, okay, I have to run, and I just ran, and it's crazy because I was just running for like maybe 70-80 meters up the hill, and it really felt like there was an invisible border, because once I arrived on top, there were a lot of people waiting for the bus at the bus station, and everything was so silent. People were just waiting, packed with their stuff, like a lot of bags, shopping bags, and once I arrived there, I just turned my head, and I just realized, okay, the guy just stopped walking or running, because it's just not his area anymore, and I was in a safe spot suddenly, and I was like, that was crazy. And yeah, after a very intense day, I didn't succeed to talk to either one guy living in that Richie building, or neither the person living in the favela. Yeah, and folks, I guarantee you, one day in the future, I will go back to that place and I will succeed. I will talk to someone living in that building, and I also will talk to someone living in that favela. Talking about dreams, I will compare them, and yeah, sometimes things take time, and I know that somehow I will know someone who knows someone living in that building, and I also know there's an NGO in that favela called Paraiso, polis. So I could talk to them, talk about my project, and this should be possible. So after some years, being a little bit less naive, a little bit more experienced, this should be possible, and not sure it will be possible.